Sputnik News reports the total cost of sudden U.S. withdrawal from NATO revealed by think tank. I was very surprised to see the way this person on the left is saluting with two fingers on the forehead. What does that mean? It looks like it's a Boy Scout salute. It must mean something, obviously. I'm not knowledgeable. If anybody knows, please let us know what that means. Now, earlier this year, U.S. media reported that President Trump privately raised the possibility of the U.S. leaving NATO on several occasions. Since becoming president, Donald Trump has publicly questioned the alliance's relevance in the fight against terrorism and attacked U.S. allies over their failure to meet their defense spending commitments. A sudden U.S. withdrawal from NATO would cost its remaining members upward of $357 billion and require between 15 and 20 years to restore the bloc's defense capabilities. This is what a report by the London-based International Institute for Strategic Studies says. The study, sponsored by German Foreign Ministry, accounts for the need to buy ground equipment, aircraft, air defenses, and warships to protect the truncated NATO's defenses, and the report proposed two scenarios, each set in the early 2020s, that is, starting basically now. In the first, the Europeans need to replace U.S. naval assets, which currently protect alliance interests in international sea lanes, assuming that the U.S. has withdrawn all its forces in Europe, the Persian Gulf, the Pacific, back to the U.S. mainland for some reason. This would require NATO's remaining powers to purchase $94 to $110 billion in new equipment, including $20 to $31 billion for 16 new frigates, and from $18 to $21 billion for destroyers armed with advanced air and missile defenses. The second scenario, suggesting a limited land war with Russia in the event of an escalation of tensions by Lithuania and Poland in Kaliningrad, suggests a need for even higher spending, ranging from anywhere from $288 to $357 billion for equipment purchases, including $78 billion to buy 90 Patriot missile defense systems, new main battle tanks, warships, and airplanes. The IISS emphasized that the cost does not cover a full-scale continental war in Europe, but merely a limited regional war in which NATO could prevail against the pure adversary like Russia. The report does not clarify what would actually prompt Russia to attack its neighbors, but is heavily focused on the country throughout, with Russia mentioned 220 times in the 51-page document. Moscow has repeatedly said that it has no intention of invading or occupying anybody, and has complained, on the contrary, about NATO's creeping buildup on its borders over the last 20 years. China, often seen as the bloc's other key adversary, is mentioned only a handful of times, and never as an adversary. Terrorism, a phenomenon which has killed several hundred Europeans in recent years, is not mentioned as a serious threat at all. That's surprising. The IISS study concludes by emphasizing the importance of the U.S. contribution to NATO's defense, saying it's a reality check for the ongoing debate on European strategic autonomy. NATO officials' fear about a possible U.S. withdrawal from the military alliance escalated immediately after Donald Trump became president, with the billionaire Republican President Trump, that is, repeatedly questioning the value of the alliance in the post-Cold War world. Earlier this year, New York Times reported that President Trump had repeatedly raised the issue of withdrawing the U.S. from NATO, with his senior officials in 2018 attacking them on their insufficient defense spending and calling the alliance a drain on the U.S. budget, and he's right on that. The White House called the New York Times story meaningless and inaccurate, stressing that the U.S. commitment to the alliance was very strong. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not certainly on not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.